different. You go to hockey games to get excited. 2 goals with the goalie Paul, and the Bruins, showing hearts of lions, have tied it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back. Episode 10. How you doing? We made it. They let us get here. Welcome to the Same Seeds podcast, brought to you by Chips. Chip sunflower seeds, rip the chip. Again, still on this empty bag over here. We're going to have to do some digging to make sure we get some refills on our end. Gentlemen, happy Sunday. Divisional game. All rocking the gear here. How we doing? How we feeling?
What a week. Holy hell. 5-game heater at home. Rolls it right into Chicago for six in a row. Patriots on today at 3. It's a lot of good things happening.
This team is good. They are good. That's all
This
I
team
can say.
loves to go streaking.
Opening thought. They're streaking through the quad. Snoop, snoop a loop. Bring you in your green hat. We're going streaking.
Well, we got a lot to unpack. Start with the Penguins, that 5-game homestand, Chara's jersey retirement, obviously wrapping up on a sibling trip. Pretty electric line read by Laurai's sister. That was pretty funny. And then obviously there's just a ton of crap going on around the league that we are biting at the bit to jump into. Starting Sunday, Pats win. But before the Pats win, and they beat the Chargers, the Bees 1-0 win against the Pens. Geeky out, but for good reason. New dad, couple of clicks to Geeky, second-time father. But the Pens game 1-0 wasn't the sharpest start to that game, but the fourth line has been going, and they were a treat to watch.
Yeah, that game was a little bit of a snooze fest, to be quite honest with you. But I actually didn't realize how good Pittsburgh actually was. I thought they would play a slow game just because of they have some older guys on their team. Between Carlson, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, they're a little bit on the older side, but they're up and down, they're quick ups, like they're a fast team. So I was pleasantly surprised with how good they were. But with that being said, that was a huge win. And crazy that that's the first shutout of the year too.
That doesn't go talked about enough. We are over halfway through the season, and who but the corporation getting the first shutout of the year? Thank you for your service. He played really well that game, and he's been on a bit of a heater here. But other than the snooze fest, I thought Steves has been buzzing, and he looked good that game. Just want to see him bury like he's due. Obviously, we can talk about Geeks is also on a bit of a slide, so it'd be good to see those two going. But Marat just kept it rolling. Like he looked really, really good. And they closed that game out really well. Mike, what do you have from that one?
A little bit of a snoozer, like you said. I did find out from my thought when we were recording last episode, I couldn't nail down the game of the last 5 p.m. game that it reminded me of. It was actually a 1 p.m. game from Sunday, 2019, before the Pats played the Rams in the Super Bowl. And the Bees did not smoke the Caps. It was a 1-0 win. So totally wrong on that. Just want to keep myself accountable, bench myself for the next shift on that one. But for this game, present day, it was fine. One of those games that you were kind of watching in the background. You're gearing up for the Pats. I was glad they won. I wasn't sure if they were going to win with the emotional game that was the Rangers the day before. So really gritty and kind of gutsy win to get up for that game because they're watching the Pats too. They're getting jacked up for that game as well. So, kind of a lot going on, but pretty professional effort in my mind. So I was happy to see it.
Yeah, it's a good point, Mike. Yeah, you always forget too that it's the back-to-back that hurts them. Even in an intent to win like that, you still got to get up and play. The power play looked atrocious that game. It's looked much better over the last couple games, but 0 for 5 is just no bueno.
Horrendous.
One funny tidbit from that game. I don't know if you saw the guy that tried to cut the net on the corporation, and he kind of got stuck underneath Korpisalo, and Zadorov proceeded to just grab his jersey and drag him out of there like a kid. And
Little Boyd had big time.
And the guy that crashed the net on the Penguins, he didn't really have much to say after Zadorov dragged him out of the net either. They just kind of went on with the game, but I thought it was a funny little piece. And then the other one that I didn't realize, and I still don't have any understanding on it, why didn't that Corrali goal count, that first one?
That's a good question. I don't know. It hit the outside of his glove. It's not like he was Like he picked it up and threw it in the net.
That was my thing, but I don't know. They must have saw something different than I did, but I thought that was weird.
And Mike, to go back to your point, we don't check facts here. So the fact you even went back to your reference is borderline unacceptable for us.
I only went back when I heard it in the car, and I was like, this sounds completely wrong now that I hear it back. I was like, I got to double check this.
We might have to sit you out for this Red Wings.
PK was good this game, though. 2 for 2. 100%. Marco. Thank you,
Special
Marco.
teams wizard. I mean, they're still at 9. I think they're 19th in the league, which is still horrendous. And we can get into that in a little bit here. But other than the snooze fest, I think we need to turn the page and talk about the Detroit game too here. There was a
Dave, I want to stick right there for 1 second. You said 19th in the league on the PK.
Yeah.
So,
well, that was as of last night. I think that could have changed because
is the PK bad, or are they just always on the PK?
It's a war of attrition is why we are falling to that.
And I had a couple of stats that popped up. I don't know if you guys follow that guy, Marcasi.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great follow. Shadasi. He's a great follow. He adds a bunch of stats on his Instagram. But teams with the highest average shorthanded time on ice. Bruins number 1 at 6 minutes and 9 seconds. The Florida Panthers at 5 minutes and 35 seconds are in second. So
big difference.
6 minutes plus a night on the PK. But when they went on their win streak, or I shouldn't say wins. I guess it would be win streak. January 4th to the 14th, they reduced that time from down to 3 minutes and 9 seconds. But at one point in the seasons, from December 23rd to January 3rd, they were on the PK for an average of 9 minutes and 13 seconds per day. It's almost half.
That's so bad.
That is horrendous.
That's so bad. It's bad. That's bad to watch too. Like, it sucks watching the PK regular season. I love watching a PK in the playoffs. I don't. It's sadistic, you know. You're living and dying with every single shot.
But I don't understand how they can continue to do this. And I did see McAvoy say something along the lines of we know we're being idiots. So
all-time comment by him.
Might be just be a running joke in the locker room that they're fucking another penalty. But at the same time, you live and die with it. But maybe just reduce it by 1 or 2 a game, and we're
to be over a minute higher than the team in second place, the Panthers, it's borderline comedy. You almost can't make it up. And on that stretch, what'd you say? They were in the box for not average 9 minutes a game.
That's
December
crazy.
23rd through January 3rd, 9 minutes and 13 seconds on the PK.
What is their record during that time? We got to look this up here.
Can't be great.
No,
it can't be. But it's funny too, because Zadorov is obvious. I love when he takes a penalty sometimes. Every time he did nothing wrong. He just leans into the refs. Last night, we're jumping hill. Prime example. Just, if he could have killed the ref, he would have killed the ref. He would have.
He's a big hit little guy.
He's always animated after a penalty call.
BCAM, people are going to kill us. What are those dates again?
December 23rd.
Okay. Loss, win, loss. So,
yeah,
pretty good correlation.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, more of the story, stay out of the box. I guess our PK isn't that bad. Well, and then everyone else gets all jerked, right? Because Poss is not playing. Your big dogs aren't playing. Corrali's playing 30 minutes a night because he's killing every penalty. It's just not a sustainable model here.
No, it's not. But at the same time, are they getting their reps for the playoffs? You know what I mean? When we get there, it's a different game. They're getting some reps now. I don't know. I'm trying to flip it into a positive note.
That's a good point. They're getting game situation versus just going on practice, playing against the guys who aren't on the PP.
That's kind of like when they had the 23 season. They were winning so many games, so clearly. I don't know how many times they were in a 6-on-5 situation. Maybe 5 times. Maybe 5. Maybe even less. And then they get to the playoffs, and we found ourselves in that same situation 2 or 3 times against the Panthers, and they never scored. It was brutal. And on the flip side, Game 7, we're in a 6-on-5 situation, and Florida scores. Like, we never kept it close that entire season. The Bruins never kept it close. And
You can
then
say we. I think we have the right to now.
And then it just I think it hurt him in the end. So my take, we should have never broke the record that season. We should have grinded out 98 points and should have won the cup.
Hot seat, Colorado.
Tune in next week for a deep dive. Yeah, seriously, Colorado.
I mean, if
Colorado's
they keep
on pace,
the clip
aren't they?
The last time I checked, yeah, but they got spanked by Nashville the other night, 7-3, a little reset game. I think it could have been on the road. I could totally be making this up, but if it was on the road, they didn't stand a chance in Nash. Probably at Tootsie's or something, just
probably
getting after it.
The dad's trip as well.
Yeah, everyone's just on the gas. All right, well, off the rails here. Bees beat the Wings 3-0. That was a little more of an exciting game. One of the big notes here: Wings are the softest team in the league. They don't scare me. They honestly don't scare me. They got a lot of skill, but they don't scare me. And cool stat going into the game, and I was looking at it here too. Zadorov and Aspro going into that game were plus 15 each, which is, people bark about plus minus. It's a stat. They keep it. PSA. But as of right now, Aspro's plus 21. Just saying.
Fun fact, did you guys catch the TNT announcers say what Aspro's nickname is? Apparently they call him the Fridge.
Really?
Yeah.
We should bring our Fridge on to discuss who is the real Fridge.
Yes, a Fridge off.
Well, one does have a tattoo of a refrigerated artist's thigh. So I think
Aspro does?
No, the original Fridge. The OG one.
We're going to have a Fridge off.
Yeah.
When we interview Chara, we'll get everyone together over at Warrior.
Yeah, it's an open invite for Chara too. I know. I just want to let him know that he can always come on.
Well, our people are coordinating with his. I think the Chips guys were hooking it up.
That's right.
They have a lot more connections than us.
We'll have to get the Chips guys to get other Fridge on as well. Open invite to the Fridge to come on the Same Seats podcast.
Another thing that I was talking with a friend yesterday, and they were saying that their nickname for Marat is the Nut. So maybe something to consider.
I think we're too far into Kudini.
Yes.
To switch over to the Nut. And then there's also the pocket rocket that's been flying around on Twitter, which I think that
picture is hilarious.
It's all time. But Kudini, I think, is just too good for us to double back.
But in the Red Wings game, that first 10 minutes of that first period was the most dominant I've seen the Bruins all this year. That was they had them hemmed in their end. And I was a little nervous, when those games happen where they're peppering the goalie and they probably should have one or two already, and it just comes down and then they get maybe like a flubby shot on net and it goes in on their first shot. So that's where I was a little nervous, but that didn't end up happening. One question I have for you both is, do the Bruins have a missing the net problem?
Do we have a Victor Arvidsson problem, is what you're asking?
I think I see where your head's at. But I think it's most of the team. And I did have a light bulb moment yesterday where it's like they don't have the offensive roster like some of these other top teams do. So it could be a tale of that they're just shooting to score, maybe not looking for a rebound when they get opportunities. They need to take advantage of them. But God almighty, those glasses and boards behind the net are getting peppered by the Bruins.
BCam, I got to say, I had my Twitter fingers were at the ready to be like classic Bruins hockey, dominating first period, and we end down 1-0. Like, that has been the tale of the past 20 years of Bruins hockey, especially catching Detroit on a they played the night before, so the Bees had their legs. They were absolutely buzzing to start that. But again, classic Bruins hockey, I feel like we are just always missing the net. The Bruins are just fucking firing it. High glass, far boards, Arvidsson with 10 shots. Yeah, I feel like that has been classic Bruins hockey as well, along with getting down 1-0 after completely outplaying the team.
I think this was the game where when we were going back and forth in the group text about Arvidsson, I think he had like 10 shot attempts and I think it was you, BKM, who called it out. He was getting dangerously close to the rock star zone.
Yes.
He will fire the pill from anywhere. You almost respect it, but it's like, what are we doing in some of these situations? Do you think you're Ovi?
He might.
Touch grass, pal. I don't know.
Bad teammate.
He did make us guess eat our words, though. We do have to shout out Arvidsson. He has played phenomenal over the stretch of the last 6 games.
I think
But I have a
7-game
thought about
heater
that
with
as well.
points. Like, I think he has, like, 8 points in 7 games. That whole line, I've had this in every single game. That Zacha Middlestat, another dash for the Middlestat
I
guy,
know. They've
and
been
and
playing
RB,
really well.
they look really, really good, and
They do.
I'll save that one for later because that could have been a whole tangent on that line. But overall, when they're buzzing, as that line goes, I think the team goes at this stage of the game right now because you just can't rely on that first line to do everything. Geeky's kind of quiet right now. Steve's is also quiet. You need them to kind of carry the weight, and they're definitely doing it.
Yeah, the third line scares me a little bit. We need Geeky to carry the water for that line, and I don't think you touch the first 2 lines because the third line's not going, so you have to find some new combinations there. But I think the thought behind that was, for Sturm, was that Geeky is going to lead the charge for Minton, and I think it's Steve's on the other side of that, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe you can shuffle out Steve's to give someone else a shot. Like maybe you throw Isimon in there and just see how he plays with them. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing, but we need that third line to produce at some rate. And we're not seeing it right now. I think Geeky, like you said, he's just in a little bit of a snide right now, but I think he'll get out of it. I know Pastrnak has been looking for him on the empty net goal the last 2 games. And selfishly, I wish he did find him because I did have him anytime goal scorer for the last 2 games. But nonetheless, win's a win, and we'll take that.
We're gonna have to reverse mush him. Just go against him that he won't score, and then obviously he'll pot one. I think though, I was thinking about this the other night. Maybe move Janelle up to the wing on that third line and slide Steve's down or put Isimon in just to get a different look because Janelle will go. He'll hunt pucks. Minton played with him for half the season already, and just find Geeky in the high slot and just let him rip. You know, Geeky's doing everything. He's changed like the whole
Solid.
9. Like he's doing it, and like I respect it. We've all been there.
I think our boy Franz is going to be fine with whoever Marco wants to put him with. The kid's unbelievable. Another goal in this Detroit game too. I mean, the kid, his game is just, it's so likable. He does everything right. He wins so many battles too, and he's pretty fast as well. Like when he's in open ice, he can really get going. Speaking of a guy that can get going too, did you guys see Zadorov go chugging up the ice? I'd like to see some next gen Amazon level stats with that and see what speed he topped out at.
I yelled at the
He was
TV.
cooking.
I yelled at the TV, break the middle, because the D were so far apart that I thought he was just going to cut up the middle and just go end to end, which would have been a SportsCenter top 10 easily.
Well, there was that graph earlier in the year. It was him and McDavid for the fastest straight line speed in the league, and he could have, not checking facts, he even could have been one, like faster than McJesus.
He might have been on that.
That has to be a scene though, for if you're on the other side of the ball there and you see a guy that large coming down the ice at that speed, get off the tracks.
If you're D-man backpedaling, you're not coming together. Like you let him split that gap. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
coach, I thought he was going wide or gonna dish it.
It's like trying to tackle Derrick Henry in the L gap,
Yeah.
No chance.
the A gap, L gap. I don't know football. Not a ball knower.
You know what? I'm usually a big critic of Nesson, and I think most people are because most of the time they stink. But the camera angle for Zacha's goal was unbelievable. I know right time, right place, but to have that visual of behind the net more or less in the left-hand corner, and he comes down, he picks the top, I think it was top right, and to see that all unfold, it felt like very uncanny. I can't believe that happened while they had that camera angle.
B-Cam, hand up. I think this game was on TNT.
It was, but if you have certain providers, it's blacked out. So
Yeah.
I had to watch
Was
it
it
on
on-
Nesson.
Oh, it was on Nesson too?
Yes.
I definitely
couldn't-
No
watched it on
shit.
this. Yeah.
I couldn't get it on TNT. We have YouTube TV like pigeons in this house.
YouTube TV doesn't have TNT?
It does, but it was blacked out because,
What?
yeah, whatever the TV rights are. So I was like, oh, nice. I don't have to watch Nesson tonight. And then lo and behold, it was blacked out. So I had to switch over to the Nesson 360 app, which
That's
I
criminal.
ultimately am a bird and pay for as well.
So,
So yeah,
B-Cam,
I saw that angle.
It was
I did not see the angle, but from the Kraken game, I did notice they rolled out like it was almost like the NFL Skycam. It was like drone shots. Was it similar to that?
Maybe. I'm not
I'll
up
have to
to.
go back and look.
Yeah, we might have to ask Folsom. Folsom might be the mastermind behind all of it.
Could be. Shout out Folsom.
Guy.
Shout out Folsom.
He leveled up on his LinkedIn.
He did.
He did.
Yeah. A couple clicks.
Folsom.
Shout out Foles.
I think you guys, keep me honest, when there's power plays, they should mix up the camera angle to have something like that behind the net. Or maybe from the point of view of like a sky cam where it's from the guy up top and you can see the whole zone. Because it's so cool when they switch it up and you're not watching it from broadcast. You get that different angle. You can start seeing guys move a little better and you can start picking out seams a little more. It'd be cool if they started doing that. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think they've done it in the past where you've seen it and then you kind of get dizzy. And then ESPN jumps in and they put like name tags on everyone. They're like, what is going on here? This is horrible.
Hate that.
But wanted to throw that out, see if you guys had a similar thought.
Yeah, every single away game that we watch for the Bruins, I feel like the camera angle changes. So, for instance, when they go to play like Utah or back in the day when they played Arizona, you felt like you were at ice level. Maybe I've become accustomed with the Bruins angle of the shot of their game, but I think Nesson, that's the one thing they do very well is they position the camera in a good spot that you can actually see the whole game. Now the camera guy sometimes does get a little bit of jittery hands and he won't follow the puck, but that's what you get with Nesson. It's a hometown broadcast.
One huge pet peeve I have with Nesson right now too is the blue text bubble in the top right corner.
Brutal.
Text Boston or something.
Boycott.
Yes. Boston has entered the chat.
Yeah.
Out. Afuera. Get it out.
I don't understand the relevance behind it. Why does it need to be there so frequently?
I don't know. I was watching on my phone too for, I don't know which game, but it popped up and it on the phone, it takes up way more real estate than it does on the TV. It's horrible.
It's like
horrible
an
experience.
Bubble.
Yeah, it's awful.
It needs to, hey, ho, ho. It has to go.
Nesson has got to go.
Nesson has got to go. Anything else on that Wings game, boys, before we get into a fun one?
No, but now that we're speaking about Nesson, shout out Tom Caron.
Shout out.
Shout out TC. Legend.
That's it.
Dave, before we jump into the Kraken, shout out our sponsor, Chip Seed. Let me take a minute to talk to you guys about Chip Seed. We love Chip Seeds. Have you ever been spitting sunflower seeds and thought, why am I even doing this? My mouth is lit up like a Christmas tree from all the salt and the flavor is terrible. Yeah, we were there once too. So Chip and Pud decided to do something about it. The result is Chip sunflower seeds, a maple-flavored Vermont syrup to make the best sunflower seeds ever created. Now, these are made with 100% real Vermont maple syrup. None of that fake corn syrup garbage every other company uses. Chip Seed keeps it simple. Syrup, salt, and seeds. That's it. Their flagship flavor, Maple Mania, proves you don't need a chemistry set to make something taste good. No Red 40, no weird additives turning your kid's brain into mashed potatoes. We leave that junk to the other guys. Recently, things got even better. Chip Seed teamed up with Little Rhodey Coffee Company to create Coffee Maple Chaos, the first ever caffeinated sunflower seed. Maple and coffee in one bag. Who doesn't love maple and who doesn't love catching a little buzz from caffeine? The idea is so good that one of those big scummy companies is probably already trying to steal it. Just remember, Chip Seed did it first. Check them out at chipseed.com or Instagram at chipseed, all one word. Rip the chip. Shout out Chip Seed. Thank you. We love our presenting sponsor, Chip Seed.
Shout out Chip Seeds.
Good job, Mike. That was a good read.
Thank you. Brushing up on my reading.
I gotta get back to my notes here. I got severely distracted.
Well, I'm thinking that we can roll right into the
Yes, that's 100%.
Which the Bruins did a phenomenal job with. From start to finish, I think it's kicked off around 4 p.m. and he had the grand entrance with all of his teammates and whoever else was part of the night. And I thought the entire production was so well done. It really felt like it was about Zdeno Chara, which I feel like sometimes in other celebrations, like it gets a little blended with other things. But like from bringing all the older guys out that have their jerseys retired, like Nifty and Bobby Orr and Ray Bork and all of them sitting there was awesome. Bringing in like Tuukka Rask and who else was there? Dennis Seidenberg, all those guys being there. I thought Ferentz did a phenomenal job with his reading. you could tell he practiced that a boatload, and he was very well spoken. He told some good stories, and Chara has a way with words. The poetic. So I don't know. I got a little teary eyed sitting there because you're thinking to yourself when he joined the Bruins was '06. So I was, I think, around 11 years old at that time, and you're pretty much seeing your childhood right there and then of someone's number going up in the rafters. But so well deserved. And the one funny piece that I found from it was Chara. They gave Chara a all-inclusive vacation to Sydney, Australia, for him and his family for the marathon. And I mean, not for nothing, he did play 24 years in the league. I'm sure he could probably afford the trip, but at the same rate, what do you give a guy who does have everything already? You know what I mean? So they probably had to claw and scratch to find things to get him, but the $33,000 donation was very.
Tatiana didn't look impressed when they announced that.
Kind of a funny gift, but I mean, the guy's an animal. He's still at it today, and I loved when they had Bergie up in the booth. To your point, BK, about Chara having his way with words. I think Bergie was like, "Yeah, he's just a Renaissance man," and like that was it, and that was all time. I mean, he got Bergie, and when he got Bergie a little bit, everyone was like, "Well," and he was. I thought the speech was great. I thought the ceremony was great. I do have a massive bone to pick with the Bruins fans in attendance. Shut up. Don't boo the brass. Don't boo the Jacobs family. Don't boo Cam Neely. Don't boo Don Sweeney. It's not about them. It's about Z. Just shut up and enjoy the ceremony. Like, time and place. Yes, do we want the black and gold seats back? Yeah, we do. Are the seats a little tight? You're sitting next to someone a little husky? Yeah, they're a little tight. Whatever. But just shut up and enjoy it.
So I had obviously texted you guys. I didn't watch the ceremony the day of, but I went back and watched it the next day. And when you guys said Bruins fans booing Neely and Sweeney, I was like, hell yeah. Like, love that. Good effort, boys. Like, way to keep it going. But then when I watched it back, my God, I hated it. I hated it so much. Even Z, like, in his speech, when he mentions Neely and everyone starts booing, you kind of hear him go, hey, like, to the crowd, like, hey, like, cut the shit, kind of. And when they panned over to Neely, I thought he was going to rip the seat back off of Bobby Orr's seat. Like, he was infuriated.
Rightfully so, too.
I agree.
There was no place for that.
That's bullshit, to be
No,
honest.
he's not standing at the podium for an end of the season or preseason presser. They're not asking why are ticket prices so high if we had a 0.6 win percentage last year. You know, why is a soda $14? It's not that time and place. So like you said, in that setting, Bees fans just gotta just zip it.
I saw too many empty seats too for that celebration. Right behind where the guys were sitting, like midsection of Loge. Too many empty seats for a celebration of that. And who knows, maybe they just couldn't get out of work or something. But you attend that game, you're there from start to finish. Whatever the agenda says, you follow that blindly on a Zdeno Chara night. So that's my.
You take the afternoon off.
Yeah.
You literally, you tell your boss, hey, I'm out of here at noon. See ya.
Chara needs me.
He did so much for us. This is the least I could do for him. Just show
You know what I thought was really cool was Chara walking in through the main entrance that everybody walks through. They kind of made this point on the Sports Hub when I heard them talking about it, and they were talking about Brady's statue retirement and everything, and they were like, Tom Brady's not walking through that front door of the stadium. You know, like Zdeno Chara, a guy who's almost 7 feet tall, noticeable by everybody. He's just in the thick of it, walking straight up, like with all the people and everything. He sort of just seems like a local and like a very personable, you know, like Bostonian, really. And that's his whole thing. He's like, I'm from Boston, like I am a Bostonian. So I think that's really cool as well to see. I mean, it's just, he's such a guy that's so easy to root for, you know?
And even in his speech, he was like, we moved here, got to the north end, walked around, felt like home. I'd get on my bike. I'd bike to Charles. Just imagine you're just going on a jog down the Charles and just this 7-foot monster on a bike just barreling down. Like, probably
Mhm.
waving at people, right? The nicest guy, minding his own business. It is cool, like just man of the people and just super likable. And I mean, if the Bruins didn't have the start that they had after that ceremony, burn it down. Give me a Chris Drury type of memo to the league, sell them all. But God, Marat just shot out of a cannon. Like they were humming, and that was like very, very well deserved. Shoreline felt bad for Dax a little bit, just getting completely lit up. I was like, "What do you want? What do you want?" Emotional night. It was a great start.
I think that was the biggest gambling wise. They were minus 170. I think that's the highest I've seen them all season. And I was like a little curious of why, but then I forgot about like the night and like the vibes going into that game. It probably should have been minus 200 to be quite honest with you, because there was no way they were losing that game. I mean, Seattle took a timeout, I think, in the first 5 minutes of the game, which doesn't happen often. They just needed a quick reset, and it ended up working out well for them because they scored pretty much right after that. But with that game, I don't know what Montour's problem is. He's got the weirdest chip on his shoulder, and he ultimately hates the Bruins, and the Bruins hate him right back. But God Almighty, he is always in the thick of it every time he plays against the Bruins.
I hate Brandon Martor. Hate him. Hate him ever since he scored the tying goal, Game 7. Send it to overtime when he was on Florida. And it's just, I don't know, his face. There's something about his face. I just really don't like it. Really don't like the way he acts on the ice. It
Yeah,
bothers me. I'd love him on the team. I'd love him on the team.
without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
But so it happened where I guess he gave Pasternak a cheap shot in a little scrum on the boards, and I think Geeky saw it happen live, and the puck got broken out of the zone, and Geeky rolled by him and just gave him a quick little two chop to the back, and then it just it kept going, and then Minton I think gave him a quick little jab too to let him know he was there, and then
Good teammate.
great teammate, and then McAvoy tried to line him up at the blue line, and he almost got him. He clipped him, but you could tell people were gunning for him. And then it went up all the way till the empty net goal for Pasternak. He tried to give him a hit, and Pasternak just kind of breezed him and went back to the bench, which is bully ball, just being like, "Yeah, we already won the game. I don't need to scrap you. We're all good."
The fake hit, I have to jump back to the Wings game for a second, because there was a moment when Kastelik was skating by Sherratt and he gave him the and 2 for flinching Sherratt. I almost fell off the couch laughing. I was like,
That
this
was
is
awesome.
unbelievable. I can't believe I didn't bring it up. I had in the notes here, but had to go
I
back
had it
to
written
that.
down too, Dave.
It was so good. It was so good. But Seattle, I did not watch the first game. I was passed out. A lot of people have them on the no watch list. They play a fast and like kind of like loose game, which I was very shocked to see. After that timeout became like it changed the whole complexion of the game, in my opinion. But I felt, and I don't know if you guys have picked up on this, when the Bruins are breaking the puck out clean, and they did a segment on this on Nesson, and I was glad they did because they kind of circled back to it. When they're breaking the puck out clean and they're moving through the neutral zone with speed, they're a very hard team to skate with and compete against. But when they start just sending Domino's deliveries up the middle, just a large pepperoni, or just they can't make a tape-to-tape pass and the wheels fall off the wagon, then there's a stick penalty, and then we're just fighting it. Seattle converted so fast on that power play goal. It's like, oh boy, we're in for like a wildly different game. Like, did our controller turn off? Like, did our batteries die?
Your
It's just
opponent
kind of
left
crazy,
the
like
game.
the 2 different tales of the game that they can play.
Yeah, and I completely agree. The one other note I had on that game was Steve's. He dumps the puck in, takes the body on the guy. You couldn't really see what was happening because the camera shifted back to like where the puck was going. But then Steve's just decided to throw him with the guy on Seattle. You could tell he was a little. I don't think that's something he's done maybe in the past, maybe ever. But credit to him for at least trying to throw some and get the boys going. But it was good to see Steve's. Like I think he understands that he's not going to be a top 6 guy on the Bruins. So where does he fill a role? And I think it's going to be playing a heavy game, fighting when he needs to, and then putting the puck in the net where he needs to. But he continues to just trying to find a place on the team, which I think is gonna. I think it's gonna make the Bruins give him a contract, which I know I alluded to last episode, but I think he's due for that same type of Aspero contract, maybe a little bit of higher AVV, but I think it's a no-brainer to re-sign him.
I'm all in on. Mike, I'm sure you're all in on, because that'd be a no-brainer.
Love this game.
You can even see it with Geeky too, right? He's not scoring, but he's just kind of being like a piece of crap out there. Cross-checking guys in the back, right below like the shoulder pads, just getting in the mix. Like, he's not going to drop them, but he's just kind of being a pain in the ass, which I
That's
respect,
the thing.
you know?
You're not going to be scoring every night, every other night, every 2 or 3 games. It's not. Most guys end up with 10 to 15 goals a season, and if you're playing bottom 6 minutes, so got to find a way to kind of carve out your role. And I like Steve's. I think he's got enough jump, and as Dave, you like to use jam. I like his jam level. Well, I don't know the difference, but anyways, to kind of tie a bow on this one too, we gave the crowd a little bit of PB whack. We got to give him some flowers. The thank you Chara chants during the speech were electric, and I love how I think it was Ferentz talking at that moment. Just let the moment breathe, and you could hear it throughout the entire arena. It was awesome. Goosebumps right up the arms, right up the neck, and then the crowd pop after the first or second goal. We were kind of texting about it. Cameron, you said felt like a playoff game. Sounded like a playoff game.
A little bit.
Did.
I want to speak on it pretty subtly here, but
it did.
It had that pop in it.
Sent with invisible ink, but I agree. The crowd was great overall. What a fun game that must have been to go to.
Chucky Mack, he logged 28 minutes that game with Peak being out. So he was just right around half the game, and he played phenomenal, and he's continued to play phenomenal. He's pretty much the backbone of this team. I think that's fair to say now. He's playing, and Sturm said it, I think, after last night's game or after the Kraken game, but he said it's the best he's seen him play.
Yeah, and he's doing it all with the bubble, Chucky All-American, right? And it's funny, too, another guy, he's got the bubble on, but he's still getting in the mix. Like, what's he going to do about it? You know, it's like, gets chirped, what are you going to do about it? I got a bubble on, I got a broken jaw.
Yeah, my face is broken. Yeah. What are you playing through?
Yeah, exactly. And he looks so good. And obviously, he's not at the point production of a Hughes or a Makar. If he was, Norris Trophy talk every single year. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit around the league for what he does on a game in and game out basis. The way he distributes the puck, the way he gets up the ice, the way he can walk the blue line, he can close on guys, he can completely lay someone out. Like, he's not afraid to get greasy. As he goes, I think the Bruins go. And to your point, BK.
Yeah, he had a play in the Kraken game where he was seemingly beat on the wall, like cutting into the zone, and he just caught up with him and bullied him off the puck, and then was a one-man breakout, and he slid it to, I think it was Elias Lindholm cutting up the middle, and Brick said it right on the broadcast. He was like, maybe the most underrated player in the league.
100%.
And I think is to your point, Dave, about the Norris, I just don't think he has the points to ever be really in the consideration. He's right around, I think his most is 50, maybe 50 plus. When you have when Makar's in the league, you don't stand
a chance.
You're never going to win it, and that's fine. And then you got Quinn Hughes, who's putting up maybe a point per game too, but McAvoy's got all 3 zone game. It's truly maybe one of the best Bruin draft picks, maybe in franchise history, if we're being quite honest with you. We're quite honest here. But he looks phenomenal.
Bruins did draft David Pastrnak, BCAM.
And Patrice Bergeron. And
Patrice Bergeron. And David Krejci. And Brad Marchand.
We're going to have an episode on this.
You didn't know
BCAM, don't worry. We can cut that.
That's okay.
I did say one of the best.
I could swear you said the best.
No,
I thought so too. I don't know, but don't worry, we'll cut it. We don't have to.
No, we don't have to cut it because I'm.
No, we're not. Dave, don't actually cut it.
I'm setting up business here. I do think he's one of the best.
But fun fact about this game too: first time the Bees have swept a 5-game homestand since 2019. How is that even possible with the 23 record team?
It's a good question.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, what?
And Dave, back to your point about that second line with Arvidsson, Zacha, and Middlestad and playing at home. Middlestad and Zacha seem to love to play at home. I had in my notes that up until the Kraken game, and I think he might have even had a point in that game too, Zacha was 24 points in 24 games entering that game. So he obviously loves playing at home, and Middlestat does too. I guess you could throw Arvidsson in there as well. But I mean, it's great when you can come home and you can expect to win games because they're playing so well.
And I was nervous going into that homestand, if I'm being honest, because the last one went over like a fart in church. Stunk out loud. So I was nervous going into that, but they wrap up with the win, 4-2 over the Crackheads. And then there was some housekeeping between then and the Blackhawks games where Donnie Deals picked up the phone, dished VL over to Anaheim for a 4th rounder, which, hey, who saw that one coming? Let's load up on some picks. Let's gear up here because after we break down this Blackhawks game, I think we're going to be on for another hour and a half talking about trade talks. And obviously they had the siblings trip, probably holding off on making moves until after the siblings trip. Mike, you had that, saw it on Twitter a little bit, but it's always fun as someone who was boots on the ground for one of their family trips in Nashville, where they brought out all the brass and Tuca and Quater were in town. They just have a time and they get after it. So I'm sure they were playing guilty last night. Not the best start, obviously, to the game, going down 2 squap, but they fired back and Arvidsson, Lori, hands up over here. They showed
I'll get
up.
my hand up. I'll get my hand up. So, Dave, as you alluded to, it is the siblings trip for these next 2 days or next 2 games. There's something going on with Lowry and Anderson, obviously, because when there's enough smoke like there is with this, there's got to be some fire. So yes, the Flames, the Calgary Flames. So obviously we see everything on Twitter saying, there's been a deal already, is what we've heard. There's been a deal. There's an extension. You see the game before, it's Anderson playing in Calgary. He waits when the game's over. He gives everybody knucks coming off the ice. He's hugging his teammates. I would assume he's not doing that every game. I don't really know. I'm not a Flames fan. You have Zoe Lowry reading the lineup before the game. She's on the trip with Mason. Mason goes out and scores 2 goals, has a hell of a game. There's something going on, 100%. And I don't know what kind of stipulation they could have in a trade, but they are not going to pull trigger on this until the siblings trip is over, 100%. You just can't do it. Zoe Lowry's trip has already been paid for. She's already in the hotel. She's flying first class. Her meals are paid for, everything. So I can't see anything officially happening until this trip is over.
And it was Lowry's birthday, too.
You can't dish a guy on the siblings
birthday boy.
And then he drops the Instagram too. Everyone's just like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I think we might have been duped. I think Twitter, has a mind of its own. I started to dig in where this originated from. It sounds like it's like a WBS Twitter or something like that tweeted it out. I looked at it. The guy has 900 followers, but he's been right in the past with other deals that have happened. But God, the speculation around this is starting to become a little bit tiresome. Like we got to either do it or don't do it.
Shit or get off the pot here, boys.
I can't see like Bruins are brewing here, or something's happening, and then you wait 24 hours and you see nothing. And it's like, oh, then the Bruins, the only team that are allowed have been granted the access to talk to him about a contract extension. But then you see Vegas as a part of it too. So, but then Vegas doesn't have the same pieces that the Bruins do, and the Bruins offer is maybe a little bit better than Vegas. So, I don't know. There's a lot of confusion around it. The one positive note on Anderson is that evidently he has the same agent as Hampus Lindholm, and we all know that we were able to do the sign and trade with Lindholm. So maybe the agent's willing to do it again. But at the same time, I need to see this return because I know I've seen a lot of discourse around okay with Lowry and Poitras going, but that first round pick is for a guy that's going to be a free agent after this year. I don't know, that's a lot.
Well, let me tell you this. Calgary better be sending us a first round pick for Lowry after last night's game. What do you think about that?
I'm in.
Say less.
Fleeced.
So I think this started with the Empty Netters, that podcast, BCam. We were changing shifts at 3 a.m. and naturally just scrolling on the phone over here. Started going down the black hole that is Bruins Trade Talk on Twitter. And originally what I saw and from what we've heard started off with Lorai, Patra, and a first rounder. Elliott came out later on yesterday and said they're looking for a player and a pick. So maybe not two players. So either a young player or prospect and a first rounder. It would really suck to see that first rounder go. But devil's advocate, they're treating Rasmus Anderson as if he's like 75 years old and is like a bag of bones, essentially. He's a 96. He's not 30, and he's on a good contract right now, and he can slide in on the right side. He's not going to have to play Chuck minutes. He's having to carry the load. I know they have Uyghur out in Calgary, but he's not going to have to carry the load. He's reliable. We have a good amount of Swedes now, so he slides right in there. I don't think it's a bad deal at all. Seeing a first go would suck, but if we give it up, I mean, it's going to be a late pick at this stage, pending it hits the fan anyways. I haven't really nailed it lately in the draft, so devil's advocate can play both sides, but the guy's got game, and we don't have to rely on him as if we'd have to rely on a Chuck, for example.
And that's our weak spot, is we don't have enough right-handed defensemen that can fill that role. The one thing here too is the trade better happen, in my opinion, because if not, I mean, it's obviously made its way to the locker room, I'm assuming by now. And so you're sending a message that Lorai and Patra are on the chopping block here. It obviously didn't affect Lorai in the slightest, but at the same time, like you can't make like fake trades and then just be like, oops, sorry, like that didn't happen, so let's just continue on with the season. It's just a bad message to send to the team that like no one's safe. And I really do think this needs to happen, because if not, it's gonna I hope it doesn't change the vibes.
Something has to break. If there's all this going around, and imagine being like Lorai, for example, just kind of sitting there hanging out. What's going to happen? Maybe they've had conversation, who knows, but we'd be so dumb not to think that. The second this is on Twitter, someone on the team is like, hey, you see this?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
I mean, Geeky fires off his one tweet a year. He's on Twitter, obviously, and they're buddies.
They are buddies. They certainly are buddies. And I don't, again, like I just don't want to change up the vibes here. Like things are going well. I know that they do need more in order to have any chance at making the playoffs, but just make it happen here. Like enough with the big J's hopping on Twitter and being like, keep your phone on, like something's about to happen. And then now I think we're on 40. And I think to your point, Mikey, if it's the siblings trip aspect of it, I mean, I guess respect to them for holding off, but I mean, God almighty, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah, so the last game of the sibling trip is Tuesday, and it's in Dallas. So, I mean, they got today, they have tomorrow, which is the holiday, and then Tuesday night, 7:30 game in Dallas. It sounds crazy to say that I don't think anything will happen until Wednesday, but I feel like if they trade somebody on the siblings trip, like players talk about that, I feel like, So, and I think Neely and Sueñas understand that a little bit as former players themselves and be like, all right, there's a line. It's like when you get the roster freeze near Christmas. I feel like, not like it's a league mandated thing, but it might be like a Bruins mandated thing where they just agree, okay, this deal's in place. Let's just wait until obviously we can't derail, not only Mason, who's a player, but his sister, who's taking collateral that we've inherited for, these 4 days or whatever. But with Elliott saying that they've had significant contract extension talks, like that's legit. Whatever Elliott Friedge, the other Friedge, says, like that is legit. So I do expect something to happen. Just we got to be patient.
Here's a thought. Maybe we do the siblings trip a little bit earlier in the season. Maybe not.
They should. 100%. Team bonding.
Maybe not 4 weeks away from the trade deadline and a week or 2 weeks before the Olympic break. That's just a thought, because this is the situation that you don't want to happen.
Or maybe after the trade deadline.
That's another good point.
Might be too early.
I think they do. Do they switch off? Like, do they do siblings and parents trips in the same year?
They've done siblings, moms, dads. I think in the past they used to just do dads.
Mm-hmm.
And then one year it became the moms, and then they would switch between mom and dad. And then the record year was the first year that they brought the siblings on. And Dave, as you were there to witness in Nashville with your sibling on the team, you guys just got after it.
Too much fun. But yeah, something's got to break here. And then I put a poll out on Twitter, and it was, who would you want? Panarin, Robertson, Anderson, or Kyrou? I had some clowns reply back, and we had some clowns reply back to say, none. We don't want any of them. It's like, are you stupid? Honestly, how dumb are you? They're like, oh, the price for Robertson would be too high. It's like, guys, this is point per game. He can score from anywhere. Like, we can have something here. Don't want Anderson. Too old. Can't do it. Maybe we need a right shot D. I don't know. But there was a good amount of feedback, obviously, on Anderson, but a lot on Robertson, too. You guys could have Robertson in a Bruins jersey. Would you, and what would you give up?
It's a no-brainer. The people that are saying they don't want him doesn't even make any sense. I walked back my original take. Me and Mikey were going back and forth on Robertson.
I almost grabbed you through my phone, BK.
Well, speculation around it was I didn't think that they had the money to give to him at 12 a year when they have Rantanen. They just gave Harley a big contract. He's 10 plus. They have Wyatt Johnson. They got Wyatt Johnson at a steal. I think he's 8.6 a year. I didn't know that I forgot about all these long-term contracts they got with their core group. There must be either there's something going on in the locker room there that maybe he's not meshing well with them, or he truly needs he wants a change of scenery. But I would give up pretty good amount for Robertson as long as we're able to sign him to a long-term contract. Like I wouldn't do what the Wild did with Quinn Hughes necessarily. Like if I'm a Wild fan, yeah, it's fun to watch Hughes, but at the same time, you're sitting in the background being like, wow, we don't have a contract in place. And I mean, I heard some news that Quinn Hughes wanted to go to the Red Wings ultimately, but they didn't have the assets to give to Vancouver. I mean, and then the Devils are always a risk for him too. Like he could go join his brothers. So I don't want that for the Bruins, more or less. I know I went off a little bit of a tangent, but Robertson, I'd give up first. I'd give up Patra, Lysell, Lohrei, and maybe another draft pick in there too for Robertson. Again, as long as we're able to get that long-term contract.
So the thing with Dallas, what's reported is that Dallas wants a significant player, quote, in return. No picks or prospects, which is where we disagreed initially, BCAM, because the Bees, they have significant players, but I think those guys are untouchable. So I don't know if prospects and picks are off the table. I don't think you have the depth horses, I'll say, to make that happen.
And this goes in like a significant player. I'll throw out a name who people have been throwing out. Zaka on the trading block.
Nope.
Again.
Nope.
Got up.
Nope.
Yeah.
Zaka should not be traded. He went on like a Czech interview or whatever.
I saw that.
I love it here. They've welcomed me with open arms. It's like a second home. He's got pasta here. It's like, and he's playing unbelievable hockey.
I have the quote right here, Dave. Time flies. I told myself that the fourth year with the Bruins is already a quite long time at home. But for me, leaving New Jersey was enormously important. It was a super start to practically a new career since the club has kept me here. They respect me as a hockey player. They pair me with super players and trust me. I feel that the team cares about me, and hopefully I'll be able to play here even longer.
Props to us for clicking on all cylinders right there. That was electric.
You got a guy that wants to be here. He's almost at 40 points already this year. He plays in all three zones. He doesn't get in any of the BS on the ice. He keeps it very clean. And you need good centermen are tough to come by. And he knows his role. Like, I don't think he thinks he's a first line center. I think he knows, like, he is probably a top 10 second line center in the league. I mean, that's just me speculating, but
I'd agree.
I think he's a phenomenal piece, and he comes at a very low cap hit for what he gives the Bruins.
And he's been here long enough. He's bought it. Like he's an we talked about this on, it could have been one of our first episodes. He's an untouchable. You don't touch him. You don't dish him. And probably the same clowns are like, oh, Zaka's got to go. Or probably the same clowns that are like, we don't want Robertson and we don't want Kyrou or anyone. It's like,
who do you want then?
yeah, like, do you want the season to end
like
tomorrow?
us.
Is this?
Trade anyone.
I don't want to open up.
All we got.
Do we get some retribution on the 2015 draft with getting Zaka and that 1-for-1 with Holla? Because I think he went 6th overall in that draft. So something just to think about. I'm always trying to just battle back for our boy Don.
Well, then there's another one here. This one also doesn't look great. We took Loizon, the pick before Rasmus Anderson went.
Oh boy.
Not the best. And we're going to probably end up giving up a first rounder for him. But hey, it all comes out in the wash.
Do we want to get into this game at all?
Would love to. I know we kind of spiraled over there. What do you got?
I already said the lineup read was great from Zoe Lowry. She may have fired up her brother, Mason Lowry, with 2 absolute snipes, like legit goals. So let's send him for a first and Anderson.
He was juiced though with the lineup read. He got up out of his seat. Like that clip was really cool.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, I think her and McAvoy's sister, they did the breakdown too, and they were pretty funny. Like they were buzzing, obviously. And then Chuck Berry's too, firing down the slot.
Sick pass by Elias Lindholm because I mean, he could have ripped that quickly, but he got the goalie moving on that quick little pass, and that was a quick release by McAvoy.
As our old coach used to say, it has to go across the Royal Road to get the goalie moving.
How about the middle lane drive from Murat on that too? Carried the whole play.
I was going to ask, who did that play start with in the D zone? Kudini. Came bombing up. He's got jets. He has jets. He's Benny the Jet Rodriguez out there.
He has sick hair too, by the way. His hair looks sick coming out of the helmet.
We should be friends with him. We got to get him and Franz on.
Open invite to everyone, literally everyone.
We have to get our 60 followers up to 100, and then we can probably start throwing out invites.
And speaking of Murat, that Pastrnak feed with 2 guys bearing down on him.
So sick.
I mean, that just, you could see it after too. Like McAvoy wanted to celebrate with Murat, and Murat couldn't take his eyes off of Pastrnak just being like hell of a pass. Just a hell of a pass. Like Pastrnak, I feel like plays every other shift, and he's got to be dog tired after these games, but he's able to produce at a high clip rate here. And I was looking at the top points in the league. He's top 10 with, I think he's played. He hasn't played every single game, obviously. I think he had an injury at some point, but he's well over
like 4 games or something.
Yeah, he's well over a point per game. I think if the Bruins do make a run, he needs to be at least in the conversation of Hart, right? I mean, like he truly is carrying the water for the Bruins, and without Pastrnak, the Bruins would be in dead last.
Yeah, I think he's in the conversation. I think Celebrini's got that in the bag.
I don't, by no means do I think he's going to win it, but
No.
I think he needs to at least get like a nod or some acknowledgement.
But this is even more of a point to bring in a Robertson or a Kyrou and get the guy some help.
I know.
And it's cool because this year I feel as if more than the past, he's dishing a ton more. And to see that level or that aspect of his game really unfold is great because 1, there's not as big of a lift on him, and 2, all these other guys are chipping in. He's making unreal plays, and he's still scoring. You know,
There was a line last night in the game where the broadcast was talking about Pastrnak, and they were saying that, or I guess Pastrnak said it before he came to the NHL, he was more of a playmaker than he was a goal scorer, but he just kind of fell into goal scoring, which I thought was a hilarious line. And I mean, you see it, like he is a magician with the puck, but just to fall into goal scoring is just a hilarious line. Like he's like, oh yeah, it just kind of.
I fell into the role of a CEO at a Fortune 500 company, and like it was fine. Like I was carrying a bag. I was an individual contributor, and then I just kind of
hardest part of the game, you just kind of fell into.
Sick, weird, humble brag, pal.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks phenomenal. And I'm excited to continue to see him play with Murat. I think that line with him Lindholm and Murat is very, very good. They seem to have some chemistry, and it's also weird too because the speed on the line is very different from player to player. Like Pastrnak is a little bit slower than Murat. Murat flies, and then Lindholm's a little bit slower, but it seems to work out well So I don't want to see any changes from that top.
Well, anything else on that game, boys? Mike?
Yeah, hand up. These guys, Middlestat and Arvidsson, are just making me eat my words completely. But I will say, after Arvidsson's goal, they panned to his brother in the sibling suite. Guy was not happy, not having fun, in the back, no beers, just complete like. Yeah,
Seriously?
that was my brother. Oh yeah, bad teammate all around. There's something about him, something about that guy. I am right on this.
I'm starting to turn a corner on Arvidsson. He's
Go back and watch the Franz Mitten clip.
I know,
It's
but he's
bad.
very animated on the ice, and when he comes back to the bench, all the guys seem to be very like, I don't know, they just seem to be good buddies. Like I think it might have been looking into it far too much. I think he might be good for the team.
His
Bad
game
teammate.
is hilarious. So
It is
when he
hilarious.
scored, I literally had in my note because I think he fumbled the puck earlier in that shift, and he just dogged it on the back check, completely dogged. It's like, okay, this is literally a 5-on-4 going the other way. He's not even on the screen. Next thing you know, I'm literally typing this, buries it. I'm just like, all right, well, this guy he thinks he's Ovi. He is the rock star. Like, print the tees, honestly. Fires the pill from anywhere. It's his game is so funny. And he's just funny to watch play.
And Dave, I know you and I talked about this on earlier podcasts where I don't think Arvidsson was before he came to the Bruins. I think we have him mixed up with another guy that was on Edmonton at some point. I tried to go back into the rosters to figure out who it is. TBD on that. I still haven't found out who it is.
We thought he was Hyman the whole time.
No, it was
McDavid?
another guy that played he was inked up from his feet up, and that's who I'm mixing it up with, but his name is not coming to me, so TBD on that.
Yeah, we didn't do our homework on the player, but now we know, and it's all time and pretty funny.
Dave, I do have a few housekeeping items that I wanted to get to.
Let's go. We should have started off with this.
No, that's fine.
Sorry we jumped right in, but
no. I liked jumping right in. A few of them were around like Hampus. Like Hampus came back kind of quietly. We thought it was going to be a little bit longer, so it was great to see him play. And he played really well last night. The other one is Brunet and DiPietro did make the AHL All-Star game, which is awesome.
Clicks.
I was surprised.
Love that.
I mean, the Providence Bruins are humming right now, so I was surprised not to see Lysell, Merkulov, and I think Blumel's been out for a while too. But I was surprised to see a couple of those other guys not in there. But do you guys know the story about the Providence Bruins head coach, about him saving a life?
Montiel?
Yeah.
Oh.
Enlighten me.
Put your seatbelt on here. Unbelievable story. So how do you pronounce it, Mikey?
It's like Ryan Mugel or Mongel.
Yeah, so I did look up the pronunciation on it because I had it as Mushnell as well. Bear with me here. Mushnell was in Boston. This is back in 2012, I believe. So he was back in Boston with his wife, who's from Boston. And they were visiting her family and vacationing after he played in the Coast, I believe, the Wranglers. I think that might be an old team.
Jeep Wranglers.
I think so. I actually don't know. But they were down at the Boston Harbor and near Commercial Wharf at Columbus Park when a man stripped off his clothes and jumped in the water. He took a few strokes and then went under. That's when Mushnell and two others, including a former lifeguard, went in after him. Mushnell was on his cell phone at the time of the man's fall, handed the phone to his wife, dove into the water after the drowning man with two others. An older gentleman in his underwear slipped underneath the barrier, and I jumped in the ocean. By the time me and the two others got to him, he was already unconscious. We kept his head up until the water taxi came to get us. And the guy ended up being okay, but he saved a life.
Wait, why? The guy like dove in the water to go swimming, or
yeah, just kind of on a whim, just jumped in the water and maybe just couldn't swim. And Mushnell jumped in and saved him.
My God, that's crazy.
I came across that earlier this week, and I was like, I have to tell that. It's a great story.
That's a
crazy.
nuts story.
I know. We don't have to dive into it too much.
No, I don't even know what to say.
It's like it was like he made the All-Star game, and I was searching something on him just to see like who he was, and all of a sudden I just see like on the side from Yahoo News like Mushnell saves life in Boston Harbor. I was like, okay, I have to dive into this.
Few clicks.
Few clicks.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Well, I have a story on the other end of the spectrum that could be tied into around the league. If you have more housekeeping things to cover, I can save it.
The only other one I had was the Bruins game against the Rangers. had more viewers than the Winter Classic.
Read the room, NHL. Read the room.
0.3 million viewers watched that game, Bruins Rangers, and I think the other one was like sub a million for the Winter Classic.
I didn't even consider tuning into the Winter Classic.
Saturday at 1 p.m., like midwinter. I'm assuming a lot of people just jumped in and threw it on, and just to get something on the TV. But I mean, that's insane. That's not a ringing endorsement for the Winter Classic.
I mean, it was the Florida Classic. The Winter Classic sucked this year. It sucked.
I did see that they're going out to Utah next, which I think Dave.
That's gonna look sick.
Yeah, that's gonna be unbelievable. Awesome.
And I think Dave, you had speculated that it was going to be at Nashville, right?
No,
I
Mike
think I said that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Mike,
I may have got on the Twitter where it said like Nashville, Carolina.
You got played big time.
Yeah, I got by the Twitter bots.
Big time. All right, well,
I think that's it for housekeeping for me, at least.
Okay, right on. I have just a couple here, and then or just one really, because we kind of covered the Rangers fire sale, which is going to be hilarious. Everything must go, closing down for business.
Everything must go.
This story, I don't know if it's true. I didn't do enough digging, but complete legend of the game, Ruslan Fedotenko, marrying his billet mom, who has 3 kids from when he played junior in, I think it was Sioux City. All-time story. Like, how are you pulling this off? I just had to mention it.
Yeah, I signing Ruslan Fedotenko.
I don't know anything about that, but I don't have a ton to add to it either.
We're rolling with it. It's a fact.
It looked like one of those Facebook stories that is just so outlandishly false that I find it very hard to believe.
As a son of a billet mother for 6 years that also has 3 children, slightly disturbed.
Yes, this story hits home.
Hits close to home.
But yeah, had to mention that. That's really, we kind of covered a lot about the other around the league, but just a funny story that popped up on Facebook of all things too. To your point, B-Cam, like the clickbait stuff, like see who the Bruins signed this week, and you're just like,
yeah,
this is just a fake news. I'm not
like
going to
Winter Classic in Nashville.
Yeah, just stuff that we're making up really, but had to mention that. Anything else for around the league, boys, before we kind of wrap up with the bear leave here?
I did see Columbus did let go of their coach, Dean Evison, and they relieved assistant coach Steve McCarthy of his duties, and then they brought Rick Bowness in. Columbus seems to be in kind of a weird spot where they're making a lot of trades, and they had a lot of signings over the offseason. Like they brought in Miles Wood, they brought in Charlie Coyle, but they seem to just they're unable to get out of the basement of the Eastern Conference. So they must be just trying to make some moves there to see if they can get some spark. And then why is Pettersson and Robert Thomas potentially on the trading block as well?
I feel like Pettersson's been on the trading block for like the past 3 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know much about the guy. A lot of people just hammer him for maybe like body language and overall attitude on the ice. But I don't think the Bruins should even look at that trade. The Robert Thomas one has my attention though. And I know he just went on the IR for a few weeks, but the guy I think he's a 97. He had 80 points a year or two ago. And I mean, talk about pairing him with Pastrnak or maybe in that top 6, he'd be awesome. I just don't know what the return would have to look like. But to your point, Mikey, about these trades, I don't think the Bruins have, outside of Lysell and Poitras and Lohrei, I don't think they have the guys to make a trade like that, unfortunately.
I agree.
I hear it. It'd be curious to see what happens in the fire sales across the league. I wouldn't touch Pettersson, but he could be. I don't know. There's crazy things. Crazy things could happen. But good call out, B-Cam. Oh, let's go around the horn here. Or leave 1 to 37. Mike.
I've been steady, as you guys know, these last few weeks. Through the losing streak, through the winning streak, try to, mirror Marco's message. Not too high, not too low. We'll go 28. Derek Forbort and Darla. 28. I'm bare leaving. I like the team. The team is good. We're a good team. We're going to be a playoff team. Let's see how long we can ride this streak out.
I'm staying strong at Soderberg. I'm trying to temper my excitement here, Mikey, to your point. They're a very streaky team. Have I think BR Open Ice tweeted out their stretches of the season.
It's crazy.
It's
Hilarious.
jarring where they went like 3-0 and then 0-6. So I'm just trying to temper my expectations. I'm trying to just have fun with it, enjoy the ride, and I'm going to stay at a solid 30.
I'm going to honor the man we honored this week and go 33. I've been hovering around the high 20s, low 30s. So I'm going to honor Big Z. If we can make a couple moves here and a couple splashes in the deadline market, I think we're going to be in good shape. The streakiness scares the crap out of me, but off some wins, take a couple L's, rattle off some wins, keep climbing. The East, I think, is pretty much wide open at this point. Where I don't know, 4 points out of first in the Atlantic, so anything could happen. Honestly, I don't know.
They have 7 games left before they go to the Olympic break. So I would even take 4 and 3 out of those 7 games because they have some absolute wagons coming up. They play Dallas next, then Vegas, Montreal, Rangers, Predators, Flyers, and then the last game in February is against the Panthers. So they have a tough schedule coming up. So I would take 4 and 3 and just try and like maintain that wild card spot while they head into the Olympic break.
Quick note too, shout out our sponsor, Chip Seeds. They're actually sending some of us to the game on Thursday against the Knights. So shout out Chip Seeds.
Let's
They'll have boots on the ground eating chips.
Right on. Well, boys, great epi here. Everyone, thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe, like, do all the things. We don't even know what we're talking about when we close off on these, so just do the social things for us. And go Bees, go Pats. Catch you next week.
Go Pats. See you, boys.
Later.
Peace.